Every day, we are faced with an overwhelming torrent of information, distractions, and responsibilities. But how often do we stop and realize that our mental clutter is affecting our well-being? What if I told you that the chaos in your mind isn't a sign of productivity, but rather a burden that weighs you down? Today, we're digging deep into a phenomenon known as cognitive overload and exploring how creating mindful space can lead to restoration and clarity. Cognitive overload is real. Imagine this. You wake up to countless notifications, emails, and responsibilities waiting for you. Your day is a whirlwind of multitasking, trying to juggle your job, family, and personal life. Your mind races from one thought to another, leaving you feeling exhausted and mentally drained. You might think this is normal after all. Isn't everyone struggling to keep up? But the truth is, cognitive overload can lead to severe consequences, affecting your mental health, decision-making abilities, and overall quality of life. Let's consider a shocking statistic. Studies reveal that the average person consumes 5 times more information today than they did in the 1980s. 5 times. With social media, news alerts, and endless content at our fingertips, our brains are bombarded like never before. It's as if we're trapped in a never-ending cycle of consumption without a chance to process or reflect. But here's where it gets interesting. Amidst this chaos, there's a profound solution that can help us reclaim our mental clarity: mindfulness. It might sound too simple or cliché, but the power of mindful space can be transformative. At its core, mindfulness is about being present, focusing your attention on the current moment without judgment. By introducing mindful practices into our lives, we can combat cognitive overload effectively. Consider this simple question. When was the last time you took a moment to breathe deeply and tune out the noise? Practicing mindfulness doesn't require hours of meditation. It can be as simple as setting aside 5 minutes a day to disconnect, breathe, and simply be. Start by finding a quiet space, closing your eyes, and focusing on your breath. Notice how that small act can begin to peel away layers of mental clutter, revealing a sense of calm. But there's more to it. Mindful space isn't just about solitude in a quiet room. It also involves creating environments that foster clarity. Think about your workspace, your home, or even your digital spaces. Are they filled with distractions? Are they cluttered and chaotic? The physical environment we inhabit can significantly affect our mental state. A tidy desk can promote focus, while a cluttered one can lead to overwhelming thoughts. So, how do we create a mindful space? Begin with decluttering. Take a look around your environment and identify items that no longer serve you. Simplify. Clear out the unnecessary to make room for clarity. By creating a visually calm and organized space, you're helping your mind to feel the same way. Now, let's pivot a bit. Let's talk about boundaries. Have you ever felt overwhelmed by the requests of your time? In today's hyper-connected world, saying no has become an act of rebellion. But establishing boundaries allows us to prioritize what truly matters. By being mindful of the commitments we take on, we can manage our mental load and allocate our energy to the things that genuinely fuel us. Have you noticed how quickly social media can drain your energy? While it connects us to others, it can also contribute significantly to cognitive overload. Limiting your time on social platforms can help create that needed mindful space. Consider doing a digital detox. Set aside specific times during the day to check your devices rather than allowing them to invade your every moment. Let's delve deeper into the emotional landscape of mental clutter. Often, our minds are not just cluttered with tasks and distractions, but also with unprocessed emotions. Stress, anxiety, and even joy can create a form of mental chaos that we carry with us. Ignoring these feelings doesn't make them disappear. Rather, it adds to our cognitive overload. To truly restore clarity, we must give ourselves permission to feel. Journaling can be a powerful tool to process emotions. Writing down your thoughts enables you to externalize your internal chaos, giving you a clearer perspective. Incorporating mindfulness practices, such as yoga or deep breathing exercises, can also help in releasing pent-up emotions. A common misconception is that mindfulness is all about relaxation. However, it's also deeply rooted in awareness. It encourages us to confront our feelings, creating space for healing. Now, let's talk about the tweak in perspective that can change everything. Instead of viewing mental clutter as a burden, consider it a call to action. It's your mind's way of saying, "I need help." This realization can be liberating. Instead of feeling defeated, you can approach cognitive overload with curiosity. What does my mind need to thrive? What boundaries do I need to set? As we progress through this journey of restoring clarity, don't forget the importance of community. Connection with others can provide support and insight into managing cognitive overload. Share your challenges with close friends or family. Opening up about your experiences can foster understanding and lead to collective solutions. And here's an interesting thought. Perhaps the solution to our cognitive overload isn't just individual, it's communal. By advocating for mindful practices within our networks, we can create an environment that prioritizes mental clarity for all. Imagine a world where friends check in on each other's mental well-being, or where colleagues encourage breaks during work hours. This kind of culture can shift our collective mindset and reduce cognitive overload on a larger scale. At this point, you might be wondering what practical steps you can take right now. Begin with small changes. Set daily intentions where you allow yourself to pause. Schedule moments for reflection, whether through mindfulness, physical activity, or simply enjoying a walk outdoors. Embrace the process. Remember, every step you take towards mindful space is a step away from cognitive overload. This journey may not always be easy, but it's crucial, and the rewards are invaluable. This isn't just about getting through the day. It's about thriving in a world that often feels chaotic. As we wrap up this exploration, I encourage you to take a moment and reflect on your mental landscape. What steps are you ready to take toward creating mindful space in your life? How can you shift from feeling burdened to feeling liberated? If stories like this inspire you and you want to unlock even more secrets about mental clarity, make sure to subscribe to Stoic Zen Voices and hit the notification bell. Together, we can embark on a journey of restoration, clarity, and mindfulness. Wishing you clarity and peace as you navigate the beautiful complexity of life. If something in this video spoke to your heart, if a sentence, an idea, or even a single breath brought you a moment of clarity, then I encourage you to stay connected with us. Subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications, and join a community that's genuinely committed to living with wisdom, purpose, and inner strength. Why do we get triggered so easily? Have you ever felt a rush of anger from a simple comment? Or sadness from a particular situation? It's a common experience, yet most people don't understand why it happens. The truth is, our emotional responses are often rooted in something much deeper than the surface-level incidents we react to. Imagine walking into a room and feeling an overwhelming sensation of unease. You don't know why, but your heart races and your stomach sinks. This is not just a random feeling, it's your past experiences speaking through your body. These reactions often stem from emotional conditioning. Emotional conditioning is the process by which we develop our responses to various stimuli based on previous experiences. For instance, if as a child you were constantly criticized, you might develop a heightened sensitivity to criticism as an adult. This automatic reaction is your emotional conditioning at work, influencing the way you perceive situations and respond to them. But what if I told you there's a way to soften these reactions? A method that creates a mindful space, allowing us to navigate our emotions with intention rather than impulse. Mindfulness can be a powerful tool to break this cycle of emotional conditioning. Here's how it works. Mindfulness encourages us to observe our thoughts and feelings without judgment. Instead of reacting immediately, we learn to pause, take a breath, and create a space between the trigger and our response. This shift is crucial. It allows us to choose how we respond rather than defaulting to our conditioned reactions. So, how do we practice this mindful space? It starts with awareness. We need to become aware of our triggers. Keep a journal of situations that evoke strong emotional responses. Over time, you'll begin to see patterns in your reactions. This awareness is the first step toward change. Next, we move to mindfulness techniques, such as meditation, deep breathing, and grounding exercises. By incorporating these practices into our daily routine, we can cultivate a sense of calm and clarity. This doesn't mean we'll never feel triggered again, but it equips us with the tools to navigate those emotions more effectively. Now, let's discuss the power of language. The way we speak to ourselves has a significant impact on our emotional reactions. If we constantly use negative or harsh language, we reinforce those feelings of inadequacy or anger. Instead, try to reframe your thoughts. For instance, instead of saying, "I am so bad at this," shift to, "I am learning, and it's okay to make mistakes." You might be wondering how this ties into our everyday lives. Think about a recent situation that triggered you. Now, envision approaching that same scenario from a place of mindfulness. Instead of reacting out of anger or frustration, take a moment to breathe. Acknowledge your feelings without letting them dictate your response. This brings us to the importance of community. Surrounding ourselves with supportive people who understand the power of mindfulness can amplify its effects. Sharing our experiences and learning from one another creates a strong network to help us navigate our emotional landscapes. So, what is the biggest enemy to our emotional regulation? It's the automatic responses shaped by our past. The cycle of reacting instinctively often leads to misunderstandings, conflicts, and emotional turmoil. But by becoming aware and practicing mindfulness, we can stand together against this common enemy. As we begin to incorporate these tools into our lives, the transformation can be profound. Imagine responding thoughtfully rather than reactively, feeling empowered rather than overwhelmed. Take a moment to reflect. Are you ready to take this journey towards emotional awareness? If you're finding value in these insights and want to dive deeper, make sure to subscribe to our channel. We'll continue to explore more secrets about emotions and how to navigate them effectively. In the end, it's about reclaiming our power. The world often tells us that we should feel a certain way in response to challenges, but we can choose how we respond. Mindfulness creates the space we need, offering us the ability to cultivate peace amidst life's chaos. When we harness this power, we transform not only our reactions, but also our relationships. With each conscious choice, we step away from the person we once were, conditioned by our past, and towards a more grounded, resilient self. Remember, the journey of self-awareness and emotional growth is ongoing. It takes practice and patience. Each step, no matter how small, brings you closer to a more mindful and fulfilling life. A life where you control your reactions rather than letting them control you. Find that space, embrace it, and watch how your world shifts.